Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is episode 255 of the world famous University of Love podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, but you and I, we just call it Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Today is April the 17th, 2021. It is a Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to talk for a long time. You know why? Because I will tell you why. I have, well, my wife and I, we have a leak in our downstairs bathroom and our toilet. And I told my wife, I called the guy and I said, they're supposed to come out Monday. And then I got the bright idea to go on YouTube. And I got the bright idea. I said, you know what? I'm going to save us $200. I'm going to fix this problem myself. So I told my wife, I said, I'm going to fix the problem. And she said, are you sure about that? And I said, yes, honey, I am going to fix the problem. And she said, are you sure about that? Because my wife's, I can, now, if, let's say you and I are driving down the highway on a cross country trip and something happens to the car. I can fix the car enough to get us to a mechanic shop or something like that. But I can't sit out there, go to AutoZone and just fix your car for you, just flat, and you could drive the next 500 miles. I'm the type of mechanic, the type of repairman that can get you to the next destination, 5, 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles, up to 100 miles. So she's thinking, what is it going to fix the toilet for a day or so? And then what's going to happen after that? No, honey, I'm going to fix it. Point blank period. But first I had to see if it steps to this. I had to see if my wet dry vac is working, because I abused that last about a month ago. We had this problem with the carpet, and so I was getting up a lot of water out of the carpet, and so I had to see if that works, because if that don't work, then I'm screwed anyway. I just had to fork over the money, but we will find out. So I am going to bump my gums for a long time today. No, I'm just kidding. But this is the beauty of home ownership and the downfall of home ownership. Okay, when I was growing up, we lived in an apartment. You know who we call? Maintenance. Okay, okay. Something don't work, maintenance. All right. Fan don't work, AC broke, kitchen on fire. Call maintenance. Call maintenance, and call maintenance again, and they can come out and fix it. And me and my wife, we live in a house. We have no HOA. Was that homeowners association or whatever? So nobody's coming to look at anything. Nobody's coming to fix anything. It's all, mano y mano. Fork over some cash, will you? But that's the beauty of it. But anyway, and that is one. And ladies and gentlemen, that is reason number 56 that we are in the affiliate marketing genre. This is why we are trying to make all the monies online, because listen, the work check is okay, but it's definitely not gonna, I want to be able to, I want to be able to just pull over cash. Not, this is my goal. I want to be able to just whip out my debit card, pay cash for things, and go on about my business and not blink an eye. Not looking to get Billy Gates rich, but I'm looking to get comfortable. You know what I mean? So, definitely want to just be like, pay it and forget about it, and not have to sit here and count or use a credit card, because, the more you borrow money, the more you are a slave to the lender, the more you are, kind of at the mercy of the credit people. You are at the mercy of, let's say you're still working a job and you are trying to, let's say we talked about this yesterday. What's your number? Let's say all you need to do is make $200 $200 a day for you to not have to work. What if you had a bunch of what if you had a bunch of debt, and then you would have to increase that number? So, the less you abuse the credit cards, the less you use the credit cards, the better off you will be. Trust and believe me on that one. Man, you don't want to get off into. I remember when I was 18 and I went to college for a semester. Then I went off to the Navy, and that one semester I went to college, they was offering you free T-shirts for to apply for a credit card, and quite naturally they're gonna give it to you because you have no credit, so your credit score is not bad. It's not it's just there, and they're like, oh yeah, you qualify for this credit card, and you get the credit card, and you're like, now what do I do with it? And you just sort of you buy, you're like, oh, I want a CD, because I had a piece of a job, but not it wasn't paying that much. It wasn't anything that I could really write home about, and this is the reason why I got into the military. But you swipe the credit card, you're like, ooh, I could buy a CD or two. You buy 3 CDs. Back in them days, it's $45. You're like, boom, you already got $45 on the credit card. Next month, you're like, ooh, I could pay 10. They're like, ooh, pay $10. Great, I'm gonna pay $10, and then you just go off into a cycle that you can't get out of. But anyway, that's one of the reasons why you and I want to create. This is one reason why you want to create stuff for yourself so you can make more money. Definitely going to make more money doing this than most of us are going to make at a job. You know what I mean? And plus, it's more satisfying. I mean, for me anyway, it's more satisfying to do this podcast and to do online marketing, affiliate marketing, than it is to go to work and drive the truck. Like, I definitely get more joy out of this than anything I do as far as going to work and going to the job and and driving 12 hours, 10, 11 hours a day, a night. And I spend half the time thinking, I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to get home and do a podcast. Can't wait to get home and do some writing. I can't wait to get home. So I'm at that point. But yeah, just just try to. The best thing about I can tell you, especially the one thing you want to practice is you want to practice paying cash for things. You want to practice using your debit card for things. You don't want to don't get off into the credit card shenanigans. You know what I mean? Especially you young folk. You young folks, tell you this now, and I'm gonna tell my daughter this. By the time she's, whenever we start discussing money, I'm gonna tell my daughter this as much as possible. Say, honey, I don't want you to get a credit card ever in your life. All right. And I'm going to do my the absolute best I can to persuade her not to use credit cards. I'm going to teach her how to save money, save for this, save for that, save money and then paying for cash, because you're better off that way. Because once you get into the whole, debt, credit, owing people, it's just it's not good. It's not good at all. But anyway, what what are we on this podcast to talk about? Ladies and gentlemen, we are on this podcast to discuss affiliate marketing, marketing yourself online. And today we are going to discuss sometimes you start off one way and you might have to pivot. And I'm going to give you a prime example of this. He's a well, he well, his I don't know, his prime was in when I was 21, but I think he's been around since I was like 21, and that is my man Jeffrey Atkins, also known as Ja Rule. Okay, I remember Ja Rule like in 1998, 1999. He was a little gruff rapper. He was like everybody, holla holla and all this kind of stuff. He had these different songs, and they was cool songs. And I remember he was on the Rush Hour soundtrack. He was in a big song with Jay-Z, and he rapped at the end. And so Ja Rule, he was cool. And I remember he came out, his first album was Vena Vidi Vici, I believe that's how you say it. And he had a few good songs on it. And I believe Ja Rule, he went gold. And then I remember his next album, he did a whole, because one of the problems with Ja Rule was when he first came out, they kept comparing, because at the time DMX was like DMX was a monster at the time. So anybody that was they thought might have been trying to be DMX, it wasn't going, it wasn't happening. You know what I mean? So He got a lot of comparisons to DMX. He got a lot of comparisons to Tupac, which I don't know why, but he definitely wasn't Tupac. Anyway, so Ja Rule, he came back. Next album, I believe, was called Rule 336, something like that. And I remember the first song. It was a song with Christina Milian. Was it Put It On Me? Something like that. I had to look. I'm gonna have to look this song up. But the point is, it was more of a poppy song. It was more of a, not a typical, you know, not a typical hip hop song. It was, R&B flavor. It was kind of like pop rap. You know what I mean? And his next single was the same. His next single was the same. He started doing these love songs. You know what I mean? And people was like, "Hey, what's Ja Rule doing, man? He switched it up." And I saw this interview like a year ago. It's this podcast called Drink Champs, and he was on there, and he was like, I had to switch it up because people kept just they just kept comparing me to DMX, and like I went gold, but I didn't want to go gold. I wanted to go platinum. He's like, I wanted to be big. I wanted to be as big as possible. I want to be as big as I could be, and I'm like, oh man, that's cool, Ja Rule. And he he said he wanted to stand out amongst the crowd. He didn't want to be in the crowd. He said he wanted to stand out amongst the crowd. And I was like, oh, that's a good way of looking at it. So I say all that to say sometimes you when you first start, because when you first start off with this whole online marketing thing, when you first start off with this whole internet thing, you will at some point you will start doing videos, you will start producing content. And some of your content, you're going to try to talk like this person, that person. And I highly recommend you quickly, and I do mean quickly, ladies and gentlemen, pivot out of that nonsense and just find your voice, find your own setting, and then go for what you know. Do not get out here and start talking like you're Tony Robbins. Do not get out here talking like you're Dean Gracioso. Don't get out here talking like you're, you know, any internet marketer you run into, these e-commerce people, these Amazon gurus, all these folks you see on YouTube. Highly recommend that you do not start talking like them. You do not start walking like them. You do not become a clone, because you will not stand out. You will not impress anybody. People are smarter than what they used to be. You know what I mean? People will be like, hold on, I've heard this before. I've seen this before. And they will start calling you out. Oh, you might, and even though you might not do it on purpose, but the whole point is you definitely just want to stand on your own. You know what I mean? Like there's very few people that you can patty yourself out and they can be like, okay, okay, okay. It's like when I remember when LeBron James, when he first got into the NBA, people just kept comparing him to Michael Jordan. That's all they talked about. He's gonna be the next Michael Jordan. Yada 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 yada. Is he Michael Jordan? No. As far as marketing, as far as that kind of stuff, yes. But on the basketball court, he's a totally different player. He likes to pass the ball. He likes to think about his teammate first. I'm not saying Michael Jordan wasn't that way, but Michael Jordan definitely had a different sort of mindset when it came to playing basketball. Michael Jordan was about scoring points and helping his team win that way. LeBron is about, hitting the open man, making the best basketball move possible. I watched enough LeBron James games to know that. It's not a big deal, but that's who he is. He came into the league. He didn't try to be Michael Jordan. He just was like, hey, I'm LeBron James. That's what I can be. And he stood out amongst himself. He has 4 rings. He's an Olympic gold medalist. I mean, hey, I think the guy's doing all right for himself. And Ja Rule went from going gold, and I don't know if you kids know this or not. Some of you might know, but back in them days, back in the 90s, going gold was selling like over 500,000 units, and going platinum was selling over 1 million. And Ja Rule sold like 1 million. And then I think the next album he probably sold like 2-3 million, something like that. But he really, found his footing when he decided he's like, nah, I'm gonna do these kind of songs. This is what I want to do, and I'm and I'm gonna go from there. He went from doing all right for himself as far as music wise to really blowing up. So when you find your own footing, when you find your own voice, take it and run with it. You know what I mean? Like I think to myself sometimes whenever I'm doing a podcast, I always go, man, I need to clean up this and clean up that. And I'm like, man, I am who I am. I can't change that. I can't change what I do. Like some things I can get better at, of course, I mean, I interviewed my wife and it was all right, but it definitely could be better. We'll have to bring her back on the show, do a little more interviewing. But I'm going to interview more people and I'm going to get better at that. I'm going to get better at asking questions, I remember when I used to hit you with the word too many times. I thought about that and I said, you know what? I got to stop saying so much. Hopefully, I believe in my head I don't say it a lot, but if I do, you can always email the show if you want to, Tony@onlinemarketingmoves.com. Let me know if I'm still saying all the time. Hopefully not, but if I am, forgive me. But the thing is, when I first started doing a podcast, I'm like, man, who can I be? Who can I be? It's like, no, I got to be myself. I can only be myself. I can't be, I'm not going to be Howard Stern. I'm not going to be Rush Limbaugh. I'm not going to be, DJ Envy. I'm not going to be, Charlemagne the God. I'm not going to be none of these people. Not going to be none of these radio personalities. I can only be me, And the best version of me is great. You know what I mean? So hopefully when you start off, or if you're trying to find your footing, you stay away from, because I remember I used to listen to, what podcast I used to listen to? I used to listen to, I forget the name of the podcast, but the guy, he would be like driving in his car and stuff like that, and then he would always like, he would say something and then he would do this. To me, it seemed like kind of like a fake nervous laugh, but he'd be like he didn't know what he was doing, kind of acting kind of, trying to act kind of zany, but I was like, nah, I don't know about all that. But so when I first started, I was like, man, do I need to have a fake laugh? And I said, nah, I couldn't even try to fake a laugh if I wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. But anyway, yeah, you just want to be yourself, and you just want to stand out. And that's another thing that's another thing I've been thinking about more and more. One time we had an episode where we talked about, do you want to use your name, or do you want to use like a company name? And I remember I've tried for a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks to, because I was like, I'm gonna make a new Instagram, I'm gonna make a new Twitter for online marketing moves, and then I got to doing it, and I was like, I mean, people will find Online Marketing Moves podcast. I got the Facebook page, I can do it there, but for the most part, I'm not gonna go on every social media platform and and try to keep posting every day. It's tiresome. I don't have that kind of time. So I'm just like, hey, for now, we're just gonna do the TikTok, do the I upload my podcast on my personal Twitter feed, the T Rizano. I might do a few posts on the Instagram eventually, but and I do the TikTok, but I'm not doing all that, dual, double, 2 Instagrams, 2 Twitters. It's just too much. So, if you want to do, I'll give you some advice. If you want to do like a company name for Instagram or a Twitter account, something like that, then just delete the other account you have. Like for real. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. Just delete that, because one thing that you would do is, because when I was doing the Instagram, a mistake I made, I was doing the Instagram for the Online Marketing Moves. It was Online Marketing Moves Instagram. I mean IG. That was the name of the page. And then I would be working on something, and then my friend from the military, he would send me a message, and it would always click over back to my personal page, and I'm like, come on, man, you distracted me with this nonsense, with this foolishness, you know what I mean? So it was definitely throwing me off, and it was the same for Twitter, it would be like, which Twitter account do you want to use? I'm just like, this is getting on my nerves already. So I just cut all of that out. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll direct people from those pages to the website, or direct them just to the, say, hey, you want to check out the affiliate link or whatever, check it out here, blah, blah, blah. But so if you have two social media sites, one for yourself or one for your business, just cut the one for yourself out. Or if you just want to use your personal one to pass the messages on to people, then do that. But it's kind of hard to keep up with two, especially if you're trying to do 3 or 4. It's not gonna work. Well, it might work if you got a lot of time on your hands, but if you got a lot of time on your hands, you should just be pumping out content after content. You know what I mean? So don't worry about too much social media if that's the case. But anyway, I hope this episode helps, ladies and gentlemen, help you find your footing, help you find your voice. It's one of the hardest things, actually, honestly, that you can do, is trying to find yourself, trying to find out who you are, when it comes to this online marketing. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Eventually, you will all figure that out, and you will find out where you want to go, what you want to do. And once you do that, and once you really hunker down on it, I'm telling you, the results you will start getting will be amazing. Because now I have a clear vision, and I really know where I'm going, and I really know what time frame that I want to get out of, working, driving the truck and everything like that. And I really want to hunker down on alleviating myself from that, so I can get into the full-time internet marketing, get into the full-time affiliate marketing, and really up my business, take it to the next level, which I know it will be going. You know what I mean? So I hope the same for you. And I hope that you find, now I know it takes for me, because I'm a hard-headed kind of guy. So for me, it took a long time, but hopefully for you, it won't take as long. You know what I mean? Like, some people just know what they want. Some people know where they're going, and that's great. I hope you're one of those people. And some people are like me, who have to drive around the block 100 times, and then they figure out, oh, this is where I want to go. All right. So, I just want the best. At the end of the day, honestly, it doesn't matter if you click on any affiliate link I ever post, or if you ever follow me any of these platforms. I don't care about all that jazz. I'm going to make it regardless. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal. But honestly, I just wish everybody the best, because the hardest thing to do is change. The hardest thing in life is to change. The hardest thing in life to do is to get out of the comfort zone. You know what I mean? And you and I are working on getting out of the comfort zone. I could have just drove trucks for the next 20 years, and then eventually they would have gave me, a few peanuts. They would have gave me my 401k, and they would have said, all right, skedaddle. You know what I mean? And they would have did the same to you. Any job, it don't matter. These jobs now, that's one of the main motivations. It's like, not that all jobs treat you like trash. I'm not saying that, but it's not about treating you like trash. It's just, hey, it's just the way of the world. Gone are the days of the 50s and 60s where they'd be like, hey, man, stick with us and we're going to give you a great pension and all that kind of stuff. No, those days are kind of behind us now. Like, it's the very few jobs that's going to take care of you at the end of your retirement. You know what I mean? I remember I was broke down one time when I was talking to this Atlanta police officer, and he was telling me, he was asking me about truck driving. He said, well, they cutting back on our pension, so I don't know how my retirement's gonna look. And I'm like, man, that's kind of a shame, especially police officer, everything they have to go through. I said, man, that'd be kind of bad if they just start tight, getting real cheap on the pension. But so that's the reason why I'm out here producing content and making the affiliate marketing thing happen, because I want to be in control of my life. And the more you are in control of your life, the more you are in control of your finances, the better off you will be. Because one of the most frustrating things, and trust me, one of the most frustrating things is looking at a paycheck on a weekly basis and you thinking, why in the bleep, 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 bleep am I not getting paid more than what I'm getting paid? And you go to these people, you argue with them. I used to go and just be like, hey, man, where am I going to get a raise? What can I do to get a raise? And it's just like I'm asking the wrong questions. I need to stop. And so eventually I just stopped asking those questions. I said, you know what? What can I had to ask myself, what can I do to get the hell out of here? You know what I mean? Like, what can I do to get out of these to working at a job, you know? So sometimes you just have to, it's not about the question, it's just about the right question. You know what I mean? And the question I had for myself was a whole lot better than me, you know, basically begging for peanuts. It's like, yeah, they're gonna give you like I had a I know we're done with the you know, the whole, but you understand. But I had a manager once, and I was asking him. I said, "Hey man, you know, I've been working. I said I've been working hard for the last year. You know, I'm like, when am I gonna get a raise?" And he's like, "You know, if we give you a raise, we gotta give everybody a raise." And I said, "Hold on." I said, "Hey man, I don't care about nobody else, man." I mean, you know, God bless them folks, but they don't live with me. You know what I mean? Like I got a wife. Well, at the time she was my girlfriend, but I got a girlfriend, and we trying to move up in the world. And this pay raise ain't you know, these, you know, wait a year and they're gonna give you like a, you know, a little bit of raise, basically like $25 a week. It's like that's not cutting it. So you know, I was asking the wrong question. So for you, just figure out where you want to go, figure out what you want to do, you know, and do the whole entrepreneur thing. You know, just make a way for yourself. You know, I don't care what you call it. You know, you just, you know, affiliate marketing. If you don't consider yourself an entrepreneur, whatever. But my main point is just make as much extra income as you can, and turn this whole thing into a full time job for yourself. You know what I mean? And don't have to. So you don't have to rely on the government. You don't have to rely on the job. You don't have to rely on anybody to say, hey, you know, you're 60 years old. What are you gonna do with yourself? It's like, hey, I've been doing this for umpteen years, and I'm gonna continue to make money, because the best thing about creating content is this stuff. It always, as long as you keep it out there, somebody will always discover. You know what I mean? Like I'm always amazed how people still are downloading the first podcast from July, and I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. And I look sometimes I look, I'm like, oh, they downloaded this one and this one and this one. I'm like, great. You know what I mean? So as I told you before, I'll start off. It, sometimes I have a podcast where it's like maybe 7 downloads for the week, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, it's like 20. Then 2 or 3 weeks later, it's like 50. You know, it's like a build. It's like a build up, and it's great. But it's because I keep producing the content, and that's money that I'm making without having to go over here, you know, and beg tomfoolery for, you know, a raise or anything like that. It's on me. So I want the same for you. So hopefully we can all, you know, one of these days we'll all meet up and we'll be like, hey, we work we work for ourselves. Let's go grab lunch at whatever place. Let's all meet each other at such and such place. So I just hope that for you. I hope the best for you. And really, let's get out here, man, and let's just get to it, okay? Man, one man, whatever. All right, let's just get out there and let's get it. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, oh yeah, say a little prayer for your boy. We're about to go in here and get this toilet situated. All right. But anyway, in the meantime and in between time, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tony Rizzano. This is Online Marketing Moves, and we will talk to you tomorrow. And as always, everybody, peace.